What's up, y'all? It's your girl GabbySpeaks. If you are new to my channel, I just want to say welcome to GabbySpeaks. This is a channel where we focus on positivity, self-help, encouragement, however you want to put it. I want to say to my subscribers, shout out to y'all. Y'all been rocking with me for about a month. I started my YouTube channel January the 8th, I believe, 2022. So I just want to say shout out to y'all. Today, y'all, my heart is heavy. I am anxious because this topic is about mental health awareness. This is part 2. I decided that I wanted to devote a video about mental health awareness to the African American community because there's still that stigma that exists, and we are working to break that stigma because a lot of us are dying sooner than we are supposed to. A lot of us are experiencing different mental health disorders and not calling out for help. So this video is to bring awareness, educate my community, not just the African American, but if you are a professional who help and work with African Americans, maybe this video can somewhat bring awareness to our people or to African Americans. Y'all, I did some research before doing this video. My heart is just so heavy just looking at these numbers and seeing how many of us are affected by this mental health issues. So I want to start by saying data was provided by the Suicide Prevention Resource Center, and the data showed that from 2010 up until 2019, Black people in the U.S. had a suicide rate of 7.4% per 100,000 people. So to me, that's a lot. That's a huge number. Also, I learned something that Black males have more than double the suicide rate of Black females. A lot of times, based on my experience, I was a mental health therapist for 5 years. A lot of times Black men did not want to seek help because of this persona that you have to be strong. You know, you're a Black man, you got to be strong. You're a punk if you cry. All this crazy stuff that has been instilled in our Black men. We are suffering on the inside. As a Black male, y'all have more challenges than I feel Black females do. But it's like y'all have to put on this persona like everything is cool. You don't share your feelings, you macho. But it's like deep down inside, you're suffering, you're crying. Nobody is really taking out the time to check on y'all and making sure y'all straight, because y'all make it seem like y'all have it together. But that's not necessarily the case. Y'all, I want to say that mental health illness does not discriminate at all. It doesn't matter about your socioeconomic status. It don't matter where your family, what your family heritage looks like. It does not matter what color you are. It does not matter your educational background, what kind of car you drive. None of that matters. People of different socioeconomic statuses experience different mental health disorders. There have been different people from socioeconomic statuses to commit suicide. So it's not just people that have a low income or middle class. No, you can be in that 1% top rank with as far as like having a lot of money, but you can still experience mental health illnesses. You can still commit suicide. There have been Black celebrities who have been vocal and transparent about their mental health illnesses. I just want to say shout out to y'all. Y'all are the VIPs for real, for real. Like Charlamagne the God. If y'all listen to the Breakfast Club, y'all pretty much hear Charlamagne the God talk about his experiences. Charlamagne also has a book that talks about, it's called Shook Ones, Anxiety Playing Tricks. So I'm sure that if you're a Black male and you dealing with some type of mental health disorder, whether it's depression, anxiety, whatever, you may find this book helpful. Like, you are hearing this story from a Black man, somebody who can really relate to you. So I would encourage y'all to read that. It's called Shook Ones, anxiety playing tricks. Jed Jackson, she has been vocal about dealing with depression. We know that she comes from a very renowned family. Their family is very gifted and famous, whatever, but they still have their issues to deal with as well. Jennifer Lewis, oh my God, I love Jennifer Lewis. She inspired me to wear my red lipstick. You know, she liked to wear her red lipstick. But Jennifer Lewis, I really like her, y'all, because she's a very successful, I don't know, she's brilliant. I just love her as an actress. She has really made an impact in my life, but she has been very vocal about having bipolar. So for many years, she sought treatment. She probably still do seek treatment, take medication. She do what she got to do, because as we can see, she's a very successful actress. I'm sure she probably do some motivational speaking. I don't know what else she do, comedian. But anyway, she did not neglect her mental health illness. And she's been very upfront about what was going on. Keke Palmer, to me, she's very revolutionary. You know, she's very talented, but she dealt with anxiety and depression. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm anxious. I want to talk about 3 people that committed suicide, unfortunately. Jed Jackson, I believe that was his real name. I know on TV, he had a TV show called The Famous Jed Jackson. I was just on the phone with my sister, and I was telling her about how me and her used to watch his show. I think on the Disney station, we would watch his show. I think he was like, I don't know if he was like a spy or something. But anyway, I was just so intrigued by his character. But just to learn that he committed suicide at the age of 29, like, that's young. He was just a year younger than I was at the time. So just to know that he committed suicide, it was just like, oh my God. It was like a knockout punch, because like I said, I enjoyed watching his show. He had an impact on my life. Ian Alexander, I'm sure that we all heard about Regina King's son. Ian Alexander, he was 26, only 26 when he committed suicide. And I don't know what he was dealing with. I didn't take out the time to look into detail about that, because again, my heart is heavy today. There was some guy by the name of Mayor King Ward. He was only 44. He committed suicide. He's out of Hyattsville, Maryland. So as you can see, these are like pretty prominent people. These aren't people in your backyard. So again, it does not matter what your socioeconomic status is. Mental health does not discriminate. Taraji P Henson, she's a strong advocate for mental health as well. She talked about her dealing with depression, and she started some organization, I think in 2018, where she focuses on mental health as well. I want to talk to the church people, the Christian people, whatever your title is. I know that it's a common saying that Christians not supposed to feel depressed. Christians, you know, is not supposed to be anxious, and that's not of God. And I'm not saying that's not true. I think that's true, that, you know, the Bible do speak about fear not, you know, being careful for nothing. I know that there are Bible scriptures that goes along with that. But again, mental health does not care if you're Christian or Muslim, Buddhist, Hinduist. You know, it can affect anybody. So I will say that it's okay to be Christian and seeking professional help. It's okay to believe in God and pray to Jesus, but still taking medications too. Now, don't shoot me. I know a lot of people might not like what I said, but I'm speaking to those of you all who probably felt shameful about reaching out for help, because a lot of these leaders have instilled in people's head that you're somehow don't believe in God if you seek therapy or you get professional help. And I just want to say that's not true. Like, that is so not true. I just get so every time I hear that. It's okay. Like, I promise you it's okay to seek help. A lot of us have experienced childhood traumas, relationship traumas, even cultural traumas. And yes, some of us are resilient. Some of us are successful. We was able to make it out. But I will say that, you know, some of us still hurt on the inside. Some of us, you know, still dealing with what happened in the past and stuff. And I know people be like, oh, just get over it. You know, that's in the past. It doesn't matter. And this, but no. See, sometimes when we don't deal with things that we went through in the past, it tends to show up in our present, in our present life. I can remember being in a social work program, and I had an instructor say that all social worker students needed to get therapy or some type of counseling before actually doing the work. And I'm like, what she mean? Like, come again? You know, but when I got a little older and when I got into grad school, I understood exactly what she was saying. You know, how can I give you these resources and say this is what you need to work on, this is what need to be fixed, if I'm dealing with past wounds, if I still got these psychological scars that I have not dealt with? That makes me look like a hypocrite, right? So I was like, yeah, she had a good point. So that led me to getting help for myself. I remember being in grad school. Man, that was a tough time. I thought it would be like the most exciting time of my life because I was just a step closer to reaching my goal. But I didn't know that I was going to have to deal with mental health disorders myself. I didn't know I was going to have to go through a season of, you know, being depressed and not wanting to do anything and just being irritable. You know, I didn't know I was going to have to go through that. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody like really told me or warned me, hey, grad school is a beast, so you might have to go through this. Like, I didn't get that warning. But anyway, doing the work on yourself, yeah, it is a lot of work, but once you get through it, you will be happy, you know, with yourself. You will learn so much about yourself, and hopefully you will see life differently once you do the work, and maybe that can inspire you to help other people as well. Sometimes we have issues that exist subconsciously. So sometimes we have issues that we may not be necessarily aware of. And I'm going to present y'all with a little case study. And no, this is not based on a true story. It's not based on any of the clients I dealt with. I would never jeopardize the confidentiality of my clients. But I just want to give y'all an example of what I'm talking about. Let's say we have TT. I don't know what TT, I just made up a name. So let's say we have a young lady by the name of TT. She was raped, unfortunately, by her uncle Phil, when she was only 7. Well, she probably did tell her mom, but mom and everybody else, they just said, sweep it under the rug, don't tell nobody, it's all right. Sweep it under the rug, don't tell nobody, it's all right. So TT had her innocence stolen from her at an early age, right? And it wasn't just a one-time thing, but this happened over and over again, right? Wow, 7 years old. Okay, but fast forward, TT, you know, she made it through school, she went on to college, and she became a high school teacher. Well, TT is not only a high school teacher, but she's married with 3 kids. Okay, well, we might look at TT and be like, okay, well, she was pretty resilient. You know, she got married, had kids. Now she's in her career. However, TT is experiencing some marital issues. Her and her husband barely communicate. Well, she has this varsity football player in her classroom who is very persistent about coming on to her. He's very persistent about getting to know her biblically, if you know what I mean. Well, TT is in a very vulnerable state, so she gives in. Next thing you know, they get to know each other biblically, and now this news got out, and TT, her job is in jeopardy. She's forced to resign. Now, even though this was a made-up story, I'm sure stuff like this do happen. So if we take a look back at TT life, when she was raped at 7 years old by Uncle Phil, nobody ever got her help. Mama just said, sweep it under the rug, it'll be all right. Don't tell nobody. So now we see her being successful. She had this affair with a student. Okay, my first thought as a mental health clinician is to say, well, TT never got the help. She never got those issues that happened, that traumatic issue in her childhood. She never got that resolved. And I'm not saying that this is true for everybody that experienced sexual trauma. I know that's not everybody's case, but I'm just giving y'all an example of what can happen when we have past traumas that are not dealt with. My heart really goes out to people that have experienced any type of sexual trauma, physical abuse, verbal abuse, because even though verbal abuse, that's something that's hard to report, to defects or whoever, but people actually do experience that, and it can lead terrible impacts on a person. But anyway, we all don't have the same story, but I just want to say, for those of y'all who still dealing with childhood traumas, relationship, a lot of y'all have been through, some very traumatic relationship experiences, and my heart really goes out to y'all, and I would just like to encourage y'all that to get help. And I'm gonna provide some resources in the description box. I'm sorry that this video wasn't longer, but my heart was heavy today. I'm very anxious about this topic because I see that we still have a long way to go as it relates to breaking that stigma that exists among African Americans. And I know that we all don't express ourselves the same way. We don't cope with things the same way, and that's all right. I'm not here to bash anybody. But one thing I will say is that if you realize that you have not been yourself, if you realize that you have lost motivation, if you realize that you're not the mom or father that you need to be for your children, then I want to say that use that as an eye-opener and get yourself some help. If you don't know where to start, I would say start with your, not pediatrician, but start with your PCP, your primary care physician, because they can get you connected to those resources. Ladies, if you go to the gynecologist, maybe your gynecologist can sometimes they can prescribe antidepressants, or they can hook you up with the right resources, but just don't close the door on yourself. If you are a mother, I just want to say to you that your child needs you, or your children need you. If you are a father, you're dealing with mental health disorders, your sons, daughters, they need you. We need you. Black queens, we need our black kings. We will support you. We will stand beside you. I mean, just reach out to somebody that you really, really trust, because it's all about your life. Your life matters. I want to see you here tomorrow. You have a purpose. You have a plan. And a lot of times when we are dealing with those uncomfortable emotions like depression, or we feeling anxious or disappointed, all of those, those emotions are temporarily. So you might be feeling that way today, but you don't have to deal with that tomorrow. You don't have to suffer alone. You never have to suffer alone. There are many, many resources out here. Like I said, I will include that in my description box. If y'all ever have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm a mental health advocate. I'm just a real, I just like, I don't know, like mental health is, I never knew I would be so passionate about mental health. As a child, I knew I wanted to help people, but I never knew that mental health was going to be my avenue or whatever. But anyway, don't hesitate to reach out to me, or if you know somebody else that is into the mental health field, reach out to them, reach out to somebody. You do not have to suffer alone. We are in this together. If you come to me and you have questions, I may not know, but I can find out for you. But just know that you are loved. You matter. Your life is important. And we definitely want to see you tomorrow. Anyway, I have talked enough. I have said everything I need to say at this point. I just want to say shout out to all my kings and queens. I love y'all. And I hope everybody have a safe and productive day. Until next time, peace.